Good morning, good Sunday morning, good Easter Sunday morning, I believe, too. So happy Sunday to you guys. Hope you're well. I decided to get on a little bit late today because it is the weekly. Also, I was waiting for somebody to arrive and they haven't gotten here yet. They're going to be here in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to go rather quickly with today's weekly reading. So hopefully that's okay. Let's see, I shuffled the cards a little bit ahead of time while I was waiting. I feel like the energy is kind of good today. I don't know. I definitely got up a little bit inspired today to get some stuff done. But let's see where we're at. So on Sundays, I do a weekly. Please like, share, and subscribe. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Kat. Please like, share, and subscribe this video wherever you can. Please subscribe to the new YouTube channel. We're looking at 3 cards for the week of the 21st through the 27th this coming week. Each card is to represent for a few days of the week, since there's multiple people that will be watching this video, so that's the intention of this. Right now, the shuffle's feeling kind of smooth. Feels like things will be coming together pretty easily this week. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of resistance. Just, normal kind of shit we deal with every day. So let's see what we've got going on for our week. Sorry to be moving so quickly, but this sort of meeting has thrown me off a little bit. Nice to meet you too, Kat. Please like and follow my personal page if you like the reading. Sundays I do a 3-card spread where I just pull cards for the entire group to kind of give us an idea of what is going on with the week coming ahead. Hey, good morning, Simon. Good morning, Karen. I hope you're doing well. I hope your dog is well. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I hope I keep sending you good vibes and thoughts about that. So let's look at the beginning part of the week. Our first card for the beginning part of the week is the 9 of Worlds, which is Harvest. To me, this is an interesting card. It seems like anything that we're planning on doing this week is going to be setting us up for something long-term later. So harvesting is always about focusing on the sort of the feeling of the future in the now, and then manifesting it later or bringing it in later with the harvest. I'll just show you this card. It's very warm feeling, very nostalgic. It feels like we've got a lot of ideas going on in what we want and how we want things to go. But I think this is a good time to be conscious of how we're thinking about things and how we're bringing them into us, where we are, what sort of energy we're using when we are thinking about these things. I also feel like this card has a bit of a long-term, good morning, Pat. I also feel that this card has a bit of a long-term feel to it. So this might be the beginning of this week, right? Where we start to mull about these ideas or these creative ideas or choices about what we want to have come into our life or what we want to create in our space. This harvest card has a little bit of a longer term feeling. So it may not be something that we see, manifest by the end of this week or next week. It could be in a month or two, or maybe even in a year. But right now, this to me, and plus I think that there was something going on with the moon where they were talking about it was a really good moon in Libra recently for the creation of new things. And so that would make sense why this would be showing up today. It's sort of like whatever we've been thinking about the past few days, whatever we've been desiring, however we've been desiring it, if we've been doing it in a positive manner, and in a manner that's sort of conducive to how the universe likes to work with us, we might actually find that we're actually going to be making some progress in that area. We may not see it immediately, but it will show up at some point. There will be a harvest at some point. So what I would say is, what we do today, we need to be very serious and think about how it may affect our tomorrow, in essence, right? And so I would say that's the beginning of our week, how we're thinking about things, and also, sort of the energy off of that full moon is still sort of around us. So whatever we're thinking about and whatever we're sort of manifesting or wanting or desiring, we very well may be creating. So keep that in mind for the first few days of the week. The second card, which will be my midweek now, and each of these cards represents maybe 2 to 3 days, depending on how your week goes. Some of us, it might be only 1 day, and then we're into the next card. And some of us, it might be 3 days, and then we're into the next card. The next card is the Empress. So it feels like midweek, and I like the Empress. I'll just share her with you. It feels like midweek we feel like we have some control over our space. We might have some problems around us, but we're aware of them. We've kind of got them within our view, but they're not necessarily threatening to us in a sense that, like, any sort of obstacles or resistance or challenges that we may have to deal with this week, or we see coming, we can see it very clearly on the horizon, and we can sort of plan accordingly. The Empress to me is very compassionate. She's grounded. She's very centered in who she is and what she knows. She's also a lot about creativity. So I think, again, we have this sort of idea of, with Harvest and the Empress, again, it's about creative thought and how we choose to sort of approach a situation. If we see something undesirable or maybe some work approaching us that we might need to, like, sort of face head on, we can prepare. There looks to be, like, when I look at this card, there looks to be time for us to prepare for whatever this challenge may be that might be coming on. Does that make sense? She feels at peace to me, and she feels very centered and grounded. So hopefully midweek, that's what we will be experiencing, is centeredness, groundedness, just an awareness of our own power. And your dog passed, Karen. I'm so sorry for the loss. I had a feeling that was what was going on. I'm so sorry. She's still with you, though, I hope you know. I mean, I'm not a medium, but I hope you know that she is... just because they pass from their physical bodies doesn't mean that their spirits leave us. You know, they're always around us and love us. So good morning, Ducky. Happy Easter to you too. So by midweek, hopefully there will be a sense of peace, a sense of centeredness, a center of groundedness. It doesn't mean that we won't be without our emotions. We will be able to have our emotions and feel them when we feel safe and in a right space to do so. But just, try and remember that you're in a position of power by the midweek. And I mean power in a good way, not necessarily a forceful power or an aggressive power, but just a natural power, a natural self-sufficiency, self-assuredness, capability that the Empress represents. So allow that energy to come through. And even if you see sort of things on the horizon or problems that could be arising, or you're sort of predicting like, oh, this could be an issue for me later, just let it stay out there on the horizon, and know that you have the capacity and the ability to find ways around it. It's far enough in the distance that you can work your creativity to get around it, if that makes sense. So for the end of the week, or the last card of the week, sorry to be going so quickly, guys, but the last card of the week is the Fortune card. And I have to say, too, this is interesting. Nine of Worlds, which is Harvest at the beginning. Worlds deals with career, money, finances, things like that, material goods, right? So whatever we're trying to manifest something. We have some ideas early on in the week, or we have been dealing with some ideas leading up to this point now. Those ideas are going to start to come to sort of fruition, depending on how we're looking at them. By midweek, we have the Empress. She's in charge. She might feel a little bit sensitive or emotional, but she's centered, she's grounded, she's aware of her power. By the end of the week, we have another major arcana card, which is the Fortune card. And the Fortune card, although it looks a little bit overwhelmed to me, it feels like a lot of good things could be coming to us by the end of the week. It's the Fortune card. Sometimes, though, fortune can be, when I look at this card, I want to say sometimes it feels overwhelming when I look at this card sometimes. Like sometimes we can want so much and we get so much, we end up like, those of us with a sweet tooth, we eat too much candy and then our stomach gets upset. So there could be some of that to this card if we're not careful. If we're holding on too tightly to the things that we think we need, if we're holding on too tightly to things that we think that if we lose them, we're not going to be okay, or that we can't afford to lose, that would be the downside to this card. So if there is a negative, or people are experiencing like sort of a more negative side to this card, that would be the experience. Is by the end of the week or the weekend, going into the weekend feeling sort of in fear of, oh my God, I don't want to lose this. But there is this it is the fortune card, which says to me that we can bring good things to us. If we can hold on to this Empress energy throughout the midweek and really look at like the harvest energy that we start with, if we look at what we think about and how we think about it and how we make it feel, how it makes us feel, and then go into it with that sort of empowered Empress feeling, we could very easily be setting up a really beautiful weekend for ourselves, full of sort of activities, things that we want. Um, there could be even, material things there that we've been desiring. I don't think that this harvest and this fortune card are necessarily fully connected, because I feel like this harvest card feels to me like this is something that's going to be showing up later down the line also. But this fortune card, it feels like the midweek on, if we stay in a positive mindset and we stay in our own personal power, we could have a very nice weekend, albeit busy. Let's say that. There is an overwhelm to this card. There is a busyness to this card. There is a sort of trying to get a lot of things done, maybe having to draw a few boundaries. But in doing so, we're also creating fortune from that. When we're being clear on what we can and cannot be okay with, or again, that's also Empress energy. Like drawing our boundaries, being very clear on that, and owning it, and being treated as we deserve to be treated, and honoring that without it being anything sort of aggressive or imposing. Does that make sense? So, and also it's funny too, because in this fortune card, there's a king in the center. And so it still has this sort of royalty about it. But the thing is that he feels to me, when I look at him, I want to say to some of you, be careful what you hold on to. And maybe myself included, sometimes we get so fixated on a certain idea that, we think, oh, this is going to be the idea, this is going to be the way that it's going to work. And when it doesn't work that way, we start to panic, and that's where the overwhelm starts to spin. And the fortune card, is like the wheel of fortune, like it spins around and it kind of can go any which way, And so this in this deck, fortune represents like the wheel of fortune, where it could be, generally this is a beneficial card, right? So I think that it will be a beneficial weekend for those of us that can stay in a beneficial mindset and treat ourselves as such, and remind ourselves that we are creative and loving, honest, beautiful individuals who deserve all that the universe wants to give us. I need to hear that as much as anybody else here, probably. But again, if you feel as so inspired, please like, share, follow my personal page, my business page, Engelgeist, on Facebook. Please subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Please support me in any way you know how. Share this video out to your spiritual groups, or any groups where there's, readings and all of that. This forecast is intended as I shuffle for anybody that may come across the video throughout the day. So I know that it starts out with a small viewership, but then the views do grow. So I expect that hopefully these three cards will have impact on other people that maybe aren't here with us right now this morning. Karen, I really wish you the best. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm really glad you tuned in today. I hope this week starts to feel a little better for you. And there is my front door. So perfect timing. I'm going to sign off for now, you guys. I love you all. Have a great Easter. Have a good Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Bye.